Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of Think Business Live. Looking forward to having Alex Simmons, co-founder and CEO of Boon Health. Alex, it's great to connect with you. The power of social media. Lisa Rubin, who I went to college, who I know from college, posted what an amazing human being you were, because I think it was a recent article that got posted on you. And so I paid attention to it. And I loved what I saw, which is your company, Boon, is about bringing mental well-being to the workplace. And I think more than ever, this is such a critical topic as we sit here and record this January 24th live, but we'll get repurposed through all podcast platforms. This is the future, right? I'm a big believer that I'm a business coach. I work with solopreneurs to fortune companies and everything in between. And I'm a believer that it's the responsibility of the companies to help promote well-being, especially in today's hybrid workplace. And so for you, I just want to read what's on your homepage. Bring mental well-being to your workplace. You care about your people and you know that they each bring something special to your business. Boon's personalized coaching platforms empowers your employees to become more resilient, authentic versions of themselves. Let's talk about that for a minute. I want to talk about the word resilience and about how people can be more than themselves at work. Two totally different. Let's start with resilient, right? So what's the root of resilience and how do you get there?
Yeah, so there's a couple different things. One, I mean, when we think of resilience, we think of people's ability to bounce back from adversity.
Yeah.
And when we initially set out to start Boon, the primary idea behind it was how do we make mental well-being more accessible, and how do we track progress for employees who are actually working with Boon? And what we found was that, there's a PQ9 depression index out there. There's a stress and anxiety index. And there's a bunch of these metrics out there that track well-being in a little bit of a stigmatized way, where if you feel like you're not scoring properly, you have bad mental health or whatever it is. And we wanted to have something that was very approachable and accessible for employees. And we felt like resilience was just a very approachable term for employees to be able to track their progress and well-being over time without having it be stigmatized.
Yeah.
The other reason we did that is because we knew that we were providing this service to the workplace, and we had to be able to provide some sort of tangible ROI associated with our program. And there are decades of research that support a very strong correlation between levels of resilience and key indicators in the workplace like productivity, engagement, well-being, employee retention. The list is pretty long. But those were really the two primary indicators.
Yeah. So let's talk who drives well-being in an organization, right? There is the individual, let's call them the individual employee. They wake up, they meditate, they're in a good mindset, and then a client or a colleague or a manager yells at them, right? I'm just throwing out a basic example.
Yeah.
And so how are you teaching kind of getting back to center? Whose responsibility is it, right? Is it the employee's responsibility to get back to center and brush it off and not take something personally? Or is it the responsibility of the manager in this case to learn how to be a better communicator so they don't create the friction with the authority power that they have?
Yeah, I think it's both. I think the reality is, and this is one of the reasons why we thought resilience was such a good topic to focus on as well, is just the reality is no matter where you are in your life, you're always going to be running into obstacles.
Right.
And our whole idea is like, okay, how do we provide employees with a skill set or a toolbox to handle life's adversities? So no matter who you are, you're going to have a lousy day where your manager comes at you with probably something that you didn't deserve, or maybe it was something you deserve, but your ability to bounce back from that and handle adversity and, to your point, get back to center, that's really what we're trying to provide. And on the manager side of the equation, it's the same sort of thing where maybe it's not, an after the situation resilience. It's more around, okay, how can we help this manager build a toolkit on how to better communicate in the workplace, or how to navigate different sorts of challenges that they're having. So it really does all come back to that resilience factor. But it all starts at the top.
Yeah, it also has a tap. So let's talk about a well-being toolkit, right? What should be in everybody's well-being toolkit? And it's interesting because I think now more than ever, and I think COVID spurred this, at least from what I can see, that more people are in alignment with their personal values. More people are in alignment with figuring out how to get back into alignment for the day and how to bounce back, how to be resilient, like you're talking about. But I think a lot of people don't know what the toolkit is. So first, what's kind of the fundamental toolkit?
Yeah, I mean, I think there is a certain level of awareness that is needed as to, okay, here are the feelings that I'm feeling, and here's what they mean, whether it be, here is the fear that I'm feeling in the workplace, and here's where that fear comes from, and here's how I can help deal with it. So I think there's a certain level of awareness and understanding of like, okay, here are some of my tendencies and as an individual, and where, I tend to have negative thoughts or whatever it be. And there's the awareness, and then there's the, okay, well, how do I get out of those thoughts? How do I get back to the present? So I think it's kind of twofold. And I think what makes our coaching unique is that it kind of allows you to hit on both of those topics where you're getting at those insecurities or limiting beliefs, and then you're also developing a skill set or a roadmap on how you can solve those challenges whenever they do come up, which are inevitable in a lot of different ways.
And so let's talk about some of the well-being coaches. Are they therapists? Are they, this seems to kind of, be a little bit of well-being, a little bit of life balance, a little bit of therapy. When you talk about self-awareness, that to me is, kind of all mixed in a little bit. So, tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So we are, just to be clear, we're not providing therapy services. It is strictly coaching. And, the primary differentiator that we talk about is, therapy is typically more past oriented. Okay. How did who I was as a kid shape who I am today? And it's a lot of processing past behaviors, whereas our coaching is largely focused on the present and how can we deal with these challenges or obstacles that we have in our life today and help you get from point A to point B as an employee. So it's very forward looking and goal oriented, which we feel like is really aligned with the workplace. Our coaches are really broken down into two categories. And so what we found is that we have employees coming through our program who are looking to work on something that's more mental well-being focused. And so for those employees, we are going to be matching them with coaches that are master's levels therapists who also have significant coach training in their background. For folks who are looking to work on something that's a little bit more of a blend between mental well-being and professional development, or more professional development in general, we have ICF accredited coaches who are from, corporate HR background. For example, we have somebody who worked for 12 years at PwC in their learning and development team, became certified as a coach. Now she's with Boon. We have another woman who was a manager at Uber, a manager at Amazon, got certified as an ICF accredited coach. Now she's with Boon. So we feel like we are really personalizing the approach according to what the employee is looking to go through. And we have over 100 coaches on our platform now where we're really creating this curated experience based on what the employee is looking to work on.
Yeah. And so, but it sounds like it starts with kind of this well-being of balance, right? And so my question to you is, when it comes to well-being and I love what you talk about, authentic versions of themselves.
Yep.
How do people bring their authentic versions of themselves? The way I would articulate that is their highest potential to the workplace. But do companies need to catch up and have the culture where people can actually do that? Like I think, what comes first from your perspective?
Yeah. I mean, I think I said this at the beginning, but I really do. And I think going through Boon and seeing our customers and where Boon has been more successful versus not, I think there's a very distinct correlation between what's going on at the top
Yeah.
and the ultimate success of the program. So
Yeah.
really setting that culture of authenticity and really standing behind the fact that you want to be investing in your people, both personally and professionally. That's really how you start this. And I think, even with our customers, we found that, like, okay, if this is just something that your HR leader is rolling out, there's not any sort of C-suite buy-in behind it, employees are very skeptical inherently.
Yeah.
So you view this as like a check the box sort of thing, like, oh, okay, this is their response to stress and anxiety or people leaving the company or whatever it is. But people aren't really bought in unless there is true senior leadership buy-in that is visible at the top. So that's been, I would say, the most important thing that we've seen across the board.
So let's talk about this. We've talked about awareness. We're talking about being resilient. Starts at the top. What does the top, as you're referring to, where do they need to raise their awareness to realize, there's an issue that they may not see or hear, or there's an issue that they know about, but walking into this could actually open it up even bigger, right? In a good way and in a potential, way that is that will evolve the business, right? So
yeah, well, I mean, I think the primary stat that we've really looked at is, you hear a lot about this great resignation or whatever you want to call it. There was over 4 million people that left their jobs in November of 2021 alone.
Yeah.
So this problem is not going away. And in this remote hybrid environment, you have people who are leaving their companies. It's never been harder to recruit and retain top talent, especially this millennial Gen Z generation, where statistically they value personal and professional growth more than other generations before them. So there's that. And they're only becoming more of a majority of the workforce in the coming years. So for the baby boomer business owners out there, those are the types of people that they're going to be hiring moving forward.
Yeah.
And then, you've seen the stats about the stress and anxiety epidemic that we're in our country. And the reality is existing mental health resources within 95% of small to mid-sized businesses are not adequate. And existing employee assistance programs are really designed to be more of a crisis management solution. So it's really a combination of, okay, you're seeing people leave your company, which is costing you, anywhere from 1/2 to 2 times the average salary of that employee who's leaving the business. So you are legitimately losing money with that. The stress and anxiety epidemic is having its own impact. And so what we're seeing is that employers are finding that they have to find innovative ways to show their people that they care. And even if this isn't the thing that works for their company, we've seen that employees at least appreciate that their employers are trying.
Right. It's a thing. Right.
Yes. So those are the two primary things I would say. Just the great resignation and stress and anxiety being nearly universal.
Let me ask you a question. So I appreciate that. And I agree with everything you're saying, that, I think the employees, the team needs to see that you're at least doing something to evolve and have their best interests in mind. Take me back, to where the idea sprouted and why you decided to execute on it.
Yeah. So my previous life was more in finance. So I actually worked in investment banking and private equity before starting Boon. And I guess working in investment banking in particular, you kind of hear about the toxic workplace that you can have in investment banking, 80 to 100-hour work weeks pretty consistently, that sort of thing. And I ended up getting introduced to therapy and meditation and later coaching. And all of those things had a pretty transformational impact on my life. And I kind of went back into the workplace and saw that, one, all of my colleagues nearly were miserable and burnt out. And all my employer had at the time, which was by all means a pretty progressive, sizable business, all they had to take care of the mental health or professional development of their employees was an employee assistance program, which I had never heard of. Most employees have never heard of that term. But it's how 75 to 80% of all companies have historically taken care of the mental health of their employees.
Yeah.
And it's really more of a glorified crisis management tool. So it's really not designed to be sustainably taking care of your employees. It's meant to be an end of the line reactive resource that is for suicide ideation, substance abuse, divorce, acute issues that are going on in people's lives. And it's really more of a hotline. We'll put you in touch with somebody that you can talk to in a month or so. So I just saw a huge opportunity there where it was like, okay, the current need is not being met by the existing solution. And we felt like coaching was a really good way to bring an approachable resource to employees that they actually wanted to use.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. What has meditation done for you?
What has meditation done for me? Well, I think it's really just brought me an opportunity to allow me to kind of reset a couple times a day. And I think we all live crazy, hectic lives, and the opportunity to be able to just kind of unwind and get back into the moment is, I think that's really more than anything what it's done for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Meditation's been huge. I've been meditating for like 25 years.
Oh, yeah.
It's the first thing I do every morning, and I love it. I love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What type of meditation?
I do TM,
Okay.
and if I don't feel like doing TM, I took a Silva Mind class many years ago, like 20 years ago. So I'll use that form of meditation, or just kind of sit in silence. It's just depending. I kind of listen to whatever meditation my body needs, and then if I need like a guided because I can't focus, then I use Calm. Which I think is great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
but I love it. All right, quick speed round for you, Alex. Favorite book?
Favorite book? I love Good to Great.
Yeah, it's great. It's
Yeah.
great. Best piece of wisdom you ever received?
Best piece of wisdom. My father-in-law once told me it's all about the journey, not the destination.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a good
I
one.
know he didn't make that quote up, but
he's a wise man. Finish this sentence. One thing everybody can do to take ownership of their own well-being is?
What's an easy thing that everybody can do? I think start meditating. I think it's a super approachable way for anybody to start taking care of their mental well-being.
Yeah, good.
It's so accessible today.
Yeah, I agree. Tell everybody how they can connect with you and learn more about Boon.
Yeah. So I guess if you want to shoot me an email directly, feel free to just send it to Simmons, SIMMONS at Boon, BOON-health.com. Or if you're interested in learning more about Boon, feel free to just go on our website and click the learn more button.
Excellent. Alex, I appreciate you taking time to share about your company, Boon. I think it's great that you're on a mission to help a lot of people find their center, raise their frequency, raise their vibration when it comes to well-being, not only individuals, but companies. And I think the more people that talk about it, as a business coach, I find myself talking about it a lot and writing about it. And the more people that send that message, the more mainstream it becomes. And we evolve what business is. Because I believe, and we could point to a lot of stats, that happier people do better work, are more productive, more profitable. There's so many positives to it. So I appreciate you taking time. Think community, if Alex or Boon can help, reach out. Thanks, everybody. Have a good day. Thanks, Alex.
Thanks, John. Appreciate it.